So today I wanted to tell a story about a customer running into an issue with Red Hat Enterprise. And when they try to install Nginx controller in the Red Hat Enterprise, they have some issue with the Red Hat Enterprise release. So uh, I don't have a Red Hat Enterprise subscription. So, but I wanted to reproduce the issue, and so I needed to install Red Hat Enterprise in the Virtualbox, and also since customer run the Red Hat Enterprise in a KVM hypervisor environment, not in VirtualBox. So first I needed to install in VirtualBox. Then I can convert the VirtualBox image format from VirtualBox format to the KVM Qcow2 image format. So I could install the Red Hat and run the Red Hat Enterprise virtual image and the image in the KVM. Today I'm going to do the demonstration from the start to install the Red Hat Enterprise in the VirtualBox on my workstation, and then convert that image to Qcow2 image so I can run it in the KVM. So let's start now. So first, let me give it a name, 7 demo, Red Hat Enterprise Release 7 demo. And since this is a demo, let's just give a small memory and create the virtual hard disk now. So I will use the VirtualBox disk image VDI format. I use the default. And let me give it like a small disk space, disk size. So this is demo. I just want to have a smaller disk file so we can do the demo quickly. Let's create. Okay, let's start the guest. Here, so I already downloaded the Red Hat ISO file. Let's start the installation in the VirtualBox. So we want to install. So the installation should start now. Okay, let's choose the English. Oops, choose. Choose English. Set the date and the time. Choose the installation destination. and begin installation. Let's just set a simple password. Okay, the installation is begin, and so since this is a VirtualBox installation, we also, if you want to have a network access to the VirtualBox guest, we needed to go to the network section and use the bridged adapter, because I'm running the VirtualBox on my MacBook Pro, and the MacBook Pro has a Ethernet port, EN9. So I use this as a, which I have internet access to this Thunderbolt Ethernet slot. And we use the bridged adapter. So we will have internet access to this VirtualBox guest. Click OK. So the installation is still going. And we are, after the installation, we are going to use the command I found from the internet. So here it says convert the VirtualBox VDI image format to the raw image format. So I'm going to use this command, VBoxManage, to convert it to raw format from the VDI format. And after that, I can copy that raw image file to my KVM hypervisor, and then I can use the qemu-img command to convert the raw image format to Qcow2 image format, because the Qcow2 image format is compressed, so the image gets smaller. So that's what we're going to do after the installation. So how the installation goes. Also, one more thing. When you move this, copy this image file, VirtualBox image file, after the conversion to the KVM hypervisor, and then you start to deploy the guest in the KVM. When the guest start up, you may not have access to the guest because the network environment changes between the VirtualBox and your real KVM hypervisor environment. So even you can start the guest okay, but you have no way to access the guest in the KVM. So that's important. And so after the installation, I'm actually going to show you the first step, which is configure the VirtualBox guest with the console access. So when you deploy the guest in the KVM hypervisor, you will have a console access to the guest. And then after you have console access, you can set up a network. You can reconfigure the guest network with a network access in the KVM environment. So yeah, so the console setup is very important. Okay, the installation is completed. Let's reboot. Okay, reboot it. So I have so this guest, it has a network, a one network card that I set up previously with the bridge, adapter bridge. So I should have it if I use DHCP, DH client to assign an IP address to this guest. It should work. DH client, the interface name. Okay, so I should have an IP address on this guest now. So it's 192.168.178. So I'm going to SSH access to this guest. So this is my MacBook Pro command prompt. Let's SSH into the VirtualBox guest. What's the IP address? 78. I could set the console on this guest in the VirtualBox console, but I prefer using SSH, so I can copy and paste. Again, so this is my guest IP address. I just logged in. So I'm on the guest now. I'm going to set up, the first thing to do is set up the console for this guest. So this is a very minimal setup. I don't have a Vim editor. I have VI editor. So this is a graph menu, default graph setup. And I'm going to, I have another box which already have the console set up. So I just copy this 3.9 here. So that's the console setup for the guest. Let's copy it here. Okay. So I added the grab command line default, Linux default with console TTY0, console TTYS0, the baud rate here, and the grab terminal console serial, and the grab serial command, serials with the speed, right? And also, since we made a change to the default grab, we need to run this to update the grab manual. Run this command. Okay, so now the console setup should be done on this guest. I can shut down this guest now and convert the image, VirtualBox guest image to a raw image. So it's shut down. Let's see if it's shut down. Okay, so it's part of. And so, by the way, the VirtualBox guest image file is stored under your user directory. It's called VirtualBox VMs. And then you can see your image here. So this is the guest image directory we go into. So this is the actual guest image file. You see it's VDI format. We wanted to convert it to a raw image format. And let's copy this command here, the VBoxManage. Let's convert it. Let's call it the Red Hat demo image. So that's the raw image format. So this is the, okay. So we're going to run this command, convert it to a raw format from this VirtualBox image VDI format to raw image format file. So let's enter this command. Since I have a small image file size, so the conversion should be quick. Okay, it's done. So now we can copy this image file to our KVM hypervisor. Let's copy to the temporary directory. So it's copying. So after the copying, so this is my KVM hypervisor. I have a few guests deployed. And I already have the guest defined here. I just needed the image. So the copy is done here. Copy is done. Let's convert the image file to from the raw image to the Qcow2. So to reduce the image file size. So this is done on the KVM hypervisor. We have this image, raw image file here. So this is the raw image we just copied. Let's convert it to the Qcow2. So this will take a little bit of time. And from this raw image. Okay, so this is on the KVM hypervisor using the qemu-img command, convert from raw format to Qcow2 format. enter. So this will take a little bit of while. In the meantime, let's from another Windows. Let's open another SSH session to the KVM hypervisor to look at the guest definition. So again, this is some KVM hypervisor. Still converting. So I have the guest already defined here in the KVM. By the way, I just run a plain KVM and the libvirt. I don't have any fancy like OpenStack sort of setup, so that's way too complex. I just have a simple libvirt KVM combination, so I just could use virtual command to deploy guest. Let's look at the guest definition here. So I can give a name to the guest, demo name. And let's look at the image section. So here we use here we put the image location. We use the Qcow2 image type. The file is going to be here, /var libvirt images, and that's the Qcow2 image. And here for the network, for the net interface, I already have two Linux bridge setup on the KVM hypervisor. So one is for the management interface. One is for whatever services you want to serve on the second interface. So both Linux bridge set up on the hypervisor and provide a interface to the guest. So, okay, the command is down here. So I just move this Qcow2 image to valid libvirt images. Okay. So now it's here. This is the image we're going to use. Let's double check. We are using the right image file. Server demo image. Okay. Let's make sure we do it again to have the correct image file. All right. So let's start the guest. Started. Remember, I have console access, serial console access to the guest. So this is now I can have a console access to this guest. See, that's the console output here. And it's still starting. Okay, it gives me a login prompt. Use my root login. So now I have access to this guest with console access. If we show an IP address here, so right now there's no internet IP address set up for this guest. And as you can see, the interface name is changed from, it's called ETH0, ETH1. But in the original guest from the VirtualBox, the interface, network interface name is called EMP. It's called EMP0S3. So you will not have a proper network access because the naming, the interface naming from the VirtualBox guest is called this. But after we deployed in the KVM hypervisor, the interface name is named to ETH0, ETH1. So we needed to change that. We could just copy it, ETH0, and let's give it the IP address. Here we needed to change the name. Change the name to ETH0. On boot, yes. So we wanted on boot, yes. And here we also needed to change the name 0. So you can do the same to another ETH10, and we use DHCP. Okay, so let's restart it again. So this is my console output. Okay, so let's look at it again and see if we have IP address assigned to this guest in the KVM. So now it's have a IP address here on the ETH0. We should be able to log into this guest. Let's log in. Yeah. What's the IP address here? 8080. Okay. So we logged into the KVM guest. Now we can start reproducing customer issue on the Red Hat guest. So yeah, that's the thing I want to share with you today. Thank you for watching.